The penultimate race of Season 16 sends us to the home of the NASCAR Cup Series Championship. This is the Racing Warehouse 125 in Avondale, Arizona, plays host with the Phoenix Raceway being the place to be. 125 laps, 125 miles, practice wrapping up as it stands, and we'll have ourselves qualifying uninterrupted coverage as 17 drivers have registered for tonight's event, set to get going with the Gen 4 stock cars. And Phoenix, it's changed quite a lot ever since the Gen 4s were first in use. The open dogleg, the reconfiguration of the track, and a few bells and whistles such as the now iconic LED cactus. But tonight it's all about the racing and not all the other gimmicks in between. Non-stop, no gimmicks. It's the Gen 4s, and they are about as rough and tough as they get. Qualifying on the move now with 5 minutes left on the board, and drivers taking to the track for the first time tonight. Scott Zellner, the man in the number 2 machine, finds himself as the points leader. The all-time winningest driver in the Highline Racing League takes to the track once again, and he has a 24-point advantage in the championship over Adam Bozzi. Bozzi, as it stands, is in this session and has a chance to reel him back in. However, it depends on whether or not his race will go well tonight, as Bozzi leads James McKee by 9 points. McKee's in the 3rd spot, and Scott Wheeler is then in 4th. Realistically, 5, now 6 drivers are still mathematically in championship contention. Going back to Brad Kress, who is right now 6th in the order, 43 points back. However, it's going to come down to Scott Zellner and Adam Bozzi to really sort it amongst each other, as those two drivers are far up in the point standings enough where they will have the championship in their balance. Scott Wheeler fakes the first lap that time by, and you'll see now the number 99 machine of Ryan Potter shoots up to the top of the board. Chad Winstead coming in addition. So drivers taking their first laps of the day here are now getting things going, and practice already concluded. Now time for the hot laps when they matter the most. 2 qualifying laps, and that's not a lot to work with here. Winstead going around for a second. He has 1 win this season, a thrilling finish at Michigan, but it looks like it's not going to finish all too well in qualifying. Winstead bangs the wall, doesn't get anything else out of it, and Ryan Potter doesn't go quicker than his first lap. Either way, Winstead is still at the top of the board, and multiple drivers have completed their qualifying run, so Chad throws together a very fast first lap, good enough to still maintain pole until now. DJ Stagner is going to wipe him off the map with a 0.2 of a second faster lap, quicker by a long shot compared to anyone else, and Stagner now going to be the top of the board. Tyler Hampton right now going to be scored in 10th. Alan Cunman is going to be in the 11th spot, and like Chad Winstead, spins at the line. Gets it going after a brief 360, but not much else that Alan can do as he'll fade back now 12th, 0.6 of a second off of the fastest time, and far off the time he'd like to be at, as he looks like he might start all the way in the back of the field as a result. Kendall Kerr also going to be on the way, and his Chevy Impala makes it around the track, now going through turns 3 and 4 this time by Kendall Kerr. Going to come across for his first lap to be done. That's going to be at the stripe, a 27 points. Nothing. It doesn't look like it's going to come up with any time relative to the rest of the field, and that's not going to be a validated lap. Meanwhile, James McKee is also on the circuit, and the good wrench number 29, a throwback to Kevin Harvick. And of course, Kevin Harvick's career coming to a close last weekend. Over 20 years of full-time competition, and for Kevin Harvick, a memorable campaign ending at the Phoenix Raceway, and throwing it back to one of his most iconic schemes in the early 2000s is the Richard Childress Racing look for the 29 machine of Blacktop Racing. James McKee takes to the track for his first qualifying lap, as Kendall Kerr's initial lap puts him in the 14th spot, right behind his teammate Alan Cunman by 3/1000ths of a second. Now, it looks like Kendall Kerr is quicker this time by, and should be quick enough to move out of last at the line. That is going to be the case. So Kendall Kerr is going to move up with a 27.471 up to the 8th spot on the order. So Kendall Kerr going to be in the middle of the pack to start this one. James McKee right now going to be taking his first lap. Caleb Morrissey's first puts him in 15th. And from there on out, the driver of the number 29 machine gets into the stripe. And from there, it's 8th place for James. And he's going to get through for the first time. 0.2 of a second quicker. He already has that pace. Less than a minute remaining in qualifying, and here we go again. And as they come through this time by, James McKee going to take it off like a rocket through turn 4, and it's going to be the final lap set in qualifying. Moves him up to 7th, so no major gains, and the 29 machine's going to wrap up the qualifying runs with 30 seconds left on the board. With that being said, DJ Stagner looks like he's the man who has that top spot and pole position set to go the way of the number 64. So DJ Stagner, your pole sitter here from the Phoenix Raceway, the Racing Warehouse 125, set to begin in less than half a minute. Stagner's got the pole. Qualifying lineup has been set. So without further ado, let's find out who's starting where as the penultimate race of Season 16 will come at you live on FTN. This is the Racing Warehouse 125, and without further ado, this is your starting grid here in Avondale, Arizona. Qualifying has concluded, and DJ Stagner is the fastest man on the board. Stagner going to put it there by 0.2 of a second quicker than Chad Winstead, and the number 34 machine there in the second spot. Just like that, Winstead going to be outside of row number 1, and he's going to be there just beside DJ Stagner. Then from there, Ryan Potter going to be starting third with Scott Wheeler in 4th, and the number 97 machine going to be the number 97 indeed, right beside for the 4th spot. Then from there, 5th place going to be occupied by Dylan Petit, and Scott Zellner is going to be in 6th, your points leader, just outside the top 5 in qualifying, and tonight is a make or break for the championship standings. If Zellner has a good run, it might just be settled tonight. We'll see how it all plays out for your points leader. James McKee going to be starting then in 7th, and Adam Bozzi, the man who finds himself second in the championship standings, lines up right behind his championship rival. Bozzi is going to be starting in the 8th position, and the number 27 machine right there within the confines of the top 10. From there on out, you're also going to see that's going to be Kendall Kerr inside of row number 5. 9th place then for the Kendall Kerr crew, as Colin Holden's going to be the 81 machine starting in 10th. 11th place is going to be held by Austin Bloom, and 12th will be then by Terry Brooks, rounding out the dozen in the ASC Services and Supply number 23 machine, as right behind Terry there will be Caleb Morrissey and Kenny Brooks. Morrissey going to be starting 13th. 14th will be held then by Kenny Brooks, and from there on out, Tyler Hampton is going to be 15th. Alan Cummin then in 16th. It's going to finally be Ty Smith inside of row number 9 as they come through this time by the driver of the number 18, the final driver in qualifying, as your grid has been set. Now, time to get to the racing. The iRacing official pace car drops in, and the field is at the hands of DJ Stagner with Chad Winstead right beside him. As they come through this time by, it's going to be Stagner and Chad Winstead first and second, and first and foremost, there's a point battle on the line, but for Stagner, he's chasing wins. Green flag will fly with DJ Stagner leading us here. Welcome to Avondale, Arizona. And early going's going to see Ryan Potter up at the head of the field with Chad Winstead not too far behind, first and second respectively, with DJ Stagner fading back then to 4th. Number 64 machine to be running just outside the podium now, and after a pole position run, he's going to drop back just a bit and let the leaders get into the swing of things. Ryan Potter's got the advantage. It's been an overall troublesome season for Ryan Potter, not having the pace he did in the season prior, season 16, a bit more of a challenge for him to keep things going, but as it stands, 4 laps in out of 125. He's still going to have a ways to go to keep things going each and every time around. Winstead's going to be now second. Dylan Petit is going to be third. 4th is Stagner, as you mentioned, and Scott Wheeler then in 5th. James McKee is going to be 6th, and Kendall Kerr is then in 7th, and Zellner is going to be 8th as it stands, all single file. That's the early race outlook, and there's still a lot to it. I mean, only 4 laps in, making it to 5, and laps are already counting down quick. The question is, how much does aggression come into play early in the racing? Last week, when we went to Kansas, 4 consecutive cautions opened up the race with 25 laps under yellow. That does not look to be the case right now, but from there on out, it was an entirely green race. So besides 20 opening laps of cautions, it was all throughout green. And now, as they're side by side for the race lead, Ryan Potter drops low, Chad Winstead maintains it up high, and 6 laps through, looks like Potter's got the edge as he goes down the dogleg. Early running very good right now for Ryan Potter as he's up there in the front of the field. It's the dogleg that might make the difference, and we're going to take it for an overhead shot here and take a look at the difference between Ryan Potter and Chad Winstead. Since the reconfiguration of Phoenix, you can see now that the pit road entry is open for racing use, and Ryan Potter drops under the apron, goes deep to cut some time, and that's why he's got that lead. Chad Winstead chooses not to do so. He stays on the normal racing circuit, and he loses about 1/10 of a second in just that time frame. He gains it back here through the corner, but doesn't have enough down the straightaway until he comes through for turns 3 and 4. Now that the curves are where the start-finish line is, it's also a different situation because you can see coming right out of turn 4, right to the start-finish line. Not down the former front straightaway. Instead, you come out of a curve and you come straight into another lap. So 8 laps in, differences are already being noticed in the brand new Phoenix configuration, and it's one of the most modern circuits on iRacing with a revamped graphics system as well, and that's why it's a bit more vibrant than other tracks as these colors are beaming off the Gen 4 stock cars as they come around lap after lap, set to get going for what will be a lap number 9 out of 125. The green flag's been out for every lap of which so far, and we'd like to thank Tango Paint for their official association here as the official graphic design partner of the Fireball Talks NASCAR live team. Tango Paints provides high quality sim racing paint schemes and liveries for a price you can't beat. Offer start at $50 per paint scheme, so check them out today, spelled as you see on the top left of your screen. Tango Paints on Twitter for more information, as we'll bring you your first promotional break of the night, courtesy of our friends at Tango Paints. Now 10 laps in, heading to lap number 11, Ryan Potter still has the advantage, and the number 34 machine of Chad Winstead right there as well, keeping each other very close. Gap is only about 0.2 of a second as it stands. Coming back from our first promotional break of the night, Phoenix Raceway opening with a very clean run, and right now Ryan Potter leads with Chad Winstead just behind. Dylan Petit going to be third, and DJ Stagner then in fourth. And so far, so good at the head of the field. A lot of nice and respectful racing, and it's been a bit of a challenge for guys to make passes so far. As you'll see, Dylan Petit nearly tagging the wall big time, gets out of it, and just barely, and that's enough for him to hold on at the stripe. Now, that's the thing about coming through at the end of the line. You got that curve, you gotta make it down to the bottom to avoid the blue wall, and that's a huge trouble. Now, looking on board with Dylan Petit, we'll see if he's doing anything different after that lap. As you can see inside the cockpit, he's working the wheel, and here's a better example. And you can see now with Dylan Petit's number 31 inside the cockpit, he's working that wheel lap after lap. And often with these Gen 4 stock cars where there's a lot of power at play, you're not just steering it with the wheel, you're also steering it with your inputs, the gas, the brake, sometimes even the clutch depending on how you drive it. Although at Phoenix, I don't believe they're using the clutch, given it's an all fourth gear track. Telemetry means a big deal in racing, and if you can understand why you make those decisions with the gas and the brake, it'll make you a much better driver. There's a simple part of it is, of course, they say just turning left. But if you look at it more in depth, you got to understand which line works with what inputs. And now Ryan Potter's going to see some trouble as he heads down low, tries to cut that distance, but Dylan Petit just has a better understanding, and it works up top. The Menards Dodge is going to take it up to the second spot with a paint scheme reminiscent of now new NASCAR Cup Series champion Ryan Blaney. And I'll tell you this much, Blaney, that number 12 machine in the Cup Series, able to make it happen by being solid at Phoenix. And sometimes championships come down to this track in Arizona, and that's where they're decided. Always been a late season venue. This track has been since the inception in 1988. Alan Kowicki winning the very first race at the circuit. And since then, while it has not always, and for most of its history, it has not been a championship finale track. Formerly Atlanta, then to Homestead, Miami, it has been one of those tracks you hit at the end of the season, as Ryan Potter is going to head down the bottom of the apron and find big trouble in the number 99. Ryan Potter from the top of the board in qualifying fades way back. No caution as he went down under the racing surface, and just like that, all the way at the back of the field. Take a look at what just caused it here as we go back half a minute with Ryan Potter to see why this number 99 ends up at the back of the board. And you can see there, Potter just barely going to miss hitting the pit entry and just sliding out of the first turn. And well, it's not necessarily the first turn, but the first after the start-finish line. That is a big deal to miss it. Losing all that time, that much worse. So Ryan Potter's now going to be 16th as a result of that near miss, as Chad Winstead's got the lead again. Dylan Petit is going to be second, James McKee third, and Scott Wheeler now in fourth. Your two big championship contenders haven't made many moves so far. However, now it's going to be Scott Zellner on the bottom side, and you'll see Adam Bozzi just behind, 7th and 8th respectively. And right now, they're going to be nearly next to each other. DJ Stagner, though, getting in the mix at the same time. And that number 64 Monte Carlo goes way up high. Stagner finding himself in trouble. And for the drivers who started up at the front of the field in qualifying, has not worked out well. DJ Stagner already ripping the high side, and not in the good sense, because he's tearing that wall apart, and he's tearing his Monte Carlo apart at the same time. You can see now the right side damage is getting to be much more extreme. And taking a look here with a much closer view, a close drone shot, DJ Stagner really facing issues here. And you'll see the hood beginning to pop up, the aerodynamics getting much worse, and you can't afford that so early in the race here. But it looks like DJ is going to have to work with it and maybe get an opportunity to repair it as the night goes on. But an opening run under green has not given him much a chance to stop, get things going once again. Really no opportunity to regroup. You work with what you got and you go from there. Chad Winstead leads from Dylan Petit in second, James McKee in third, and Scott Wheeler then in fourth, as it looks like now McKee's going to take it down to the bottom side, and that number 29 machine's got a shot to get the run down low, doesn't get the power off exit, and at the stripe, still can't get it done. Chad Winstead's going to lead the way there, and he's now going to face lap traffic. That's Ty Smith. Smith goes way up top, and just like that, the 18 machine going to be out of the lead lap already. 22 laps in, lap machines being caught up to. Next would be Ryan Potter, and now Potter, 14 seconds down, is nearly a half lap away from your leader and would be set to go one lap down to that lap 40-some if this pace were to continue. However, that's not a guarantee, and right now Chad Winstead leads the way, 23 laps in out of 125, as James McKee holds his own in second, Dylan Petit is third, and the field follows Scott Wheeler, as there's a big battle now, as you'll see Kendall Kerr with Scott Zellner, Adam Bozzi right there too. Take a look at Austin Bloom at the same time. They're all coming up in one pack, and Tyler Hampton, who stayed right behind them all, is still inside the top 10, running very well in a rookie campaign for this number 14 machine, and the Burger King Impala lays right behind the bulk of the pack, hoping to make some moves when everything gets freed up. Right now, it's not a guarantee that there's any room, so stick back and relax and wait to see what happens, as the night has only just begun. The leader's driving away, but the rest of the field is still more than attainable, as Alan Cumlin is not going to be in the mix right now. We're looking further at Ty Smith, though, as the Bass Pro Shops number 18 is going to be one lap down and now might be caught up to by DJ Stagner. And lap machine's already facing trouble. 25 laps in out of 125. It's Chad Winstead leading from James McKee and Dylan Petit then in third. Scott Wheeler is going to be in the fourth spot, and it's Kendall Kerr then in fifth. Scott Zellner is sixth. Adam Bozzi is seventh, and Austin Bloom is then in eighth. And right now, tire wear is becoming a big deal that time by. It showed that much more. So when it comes down to the telemetry, Chad Winstead most recently ran a 28.644. Not a bad lap in the slightest, faster than almost everyone behind him, save for your second place man in James McKee. However, over a second slower as the caution's going to fly. Yellow flag out for DJ Stagner, and we're under pacing for the first time tonight. DJ Stagner the cause, and the caution will fly for the first time in Phoenix, Arizona. And the yellow flag is going to be out for the first time tonight. The reason, DJ Stagner, as it looks like some troubles for this number 64 crew, starting at the front of the field, getting that pole position. Hasn't worked out from there on, though, and it looks like Stagner's going to get involved with Ty Smith. They'll collect each other, come up the track, and the 64 machine goes up high. Ty Smith, already one down, goes down to the bottom. Just like that, yellow flag is out. 27 laps in out of 125. We are back under pacing for the first time tonight. We have ourselves an incident. 27 laps in out of 125, and Ty Smith now going to be one lap down. DJ Stagner still on the lead lap after that incident, but compounding damage, and really not a great start for him in the slightest. Now, pit road going to get busy with the majority of the field, and pit road getting active is going to give us another change in strategy. Almost every driver on the circuit chooses to come down to pit road this time by, and tires and fuel set to be on the menu as pit road gonna get active, and we'll see who comes out first. Almost every driver on pit road, save for Ty Smith, who's hoping to get his lap back. Now with everyone in, time to find out who comes out first. Winstead had the advantage entering, and we'll see who's got it exiting. And quite clearly, Chad Winstead gets it from James McKee, Dylan Petit, Kendall Kerr, Scott Wheeler, Scott Zellner, Adam Bozzi, then Austin Bloom with Tyler Hampton, Caleb Morrissey, and Alan Kunman. That's the first 11 that come off of pit road. Now it's going to be Ryan Potter getting on the way. Big run off pit road for Chad Winstead. He maintains his race lead and looking for what would be his second win of the season. Winstead running well throughout this campaign so far, but trying to take it to the next level to become a consistent championship contender. His first win coming at Mid-Ohio in season 14. Has had to wait over a season to get back in this position. He runs in the championship standings in 8th, so while he might not be mathematically eligible for the championship when all is said and done, he is 63 points out and could be in range to maybe come home with a top 5 points finish. Dylan Petit is 62 points back, and right now it's a 1 point gap between Petit and Chad Winstead. Brad Kress is 43 back, and that's about 20 from the number 34 all the way up to Brad Kress, so it's not unattainable. It might be a challenge, but it still could be done. 2 laps to green this time by, with Chad Winstead your race leader, then going to be James McKee second, Dylan Petit third, Kendall Kerr fourth, and Scott Wheeler then in 5th. Now at pit road getting busy, you see almost every driver making their way in. Ty Smith right now going to be the only driver of which was not come down to pit road at least once, and that number 18 machine does so to get back on the lead lap. So despite being involved in the caution, it will still benefit him. So just like that, Ty Smith, 17th and last, is going to be set to go around the pace car this time by, and his Chevy Monte Carlo will get back with the remainder of the field, albeit largely off of strategy. So now as they come across the start fish line all over again, set to restart at the end of lap 30, choose rules going to be in effect, and it looks like that time by, Chad Winstead opts to go down to the bottom. He's going to bring with him the number 31 of Dylan Petit. Looks like now James McKee goes up top, high and low. Choose rules going to be in motion, and we're set to get back at it this time by 1 lap to green. Winstead's got it in the opening section. He's been fast. Now time to find out if anyone can be faster. James McKee was gaining, but now with a new set of tire, the level playing field that we saw at the start of the race is back in full swing. So here we'll go. Set to get back at it. It's going to be Chad Winstead leading, James McKee second, Dylan Petit then in third. Green flag going to drop this time by for the first restart of the night. And here we go again. 29 up top, 34 down to the bottom. And it's now going to be time for Chad Winstead to lead the field back to green. Here we go again in the Racing Warehouse 125, back underway in Arizona. It's a nice jump out in front for Chad Winstead to take the race lead immediately. Then from there, not too far back, it's going to be second and third, held by Dylan Petit and James McKee. Holding on strong just outside of the top three, it's going to be Kendall Kerr and Scott Wheeler also fighting up there. And these two drivers who are just beyond the top three could have a chance as Kendall Kerr goes down to the apron. Dog leg is going to be in use as well, so every part of the track is for the taking. Nothing is off limits. And now we're going to see some fierce battling throughout the pack. 32 laps in of 125, and Chad Winstead knows that as long as these guys continue to battle just beyond his reach, he'll have a chance to continue to extend that race lead and have less to worry about as time goes on. So it's in his best interest to just let these drivers play it out, and as they have been so far, a lot of packs already forming, and it looks like the best of which are those up in front. Scott Wheeler, Kendall Kerr, Dylan Petit are very close to one another, and right now the drivers at the head of the field beginning to stick to one another, and that's when it's become much harder to really make big passes. As it stands though, the gap between your leader and second place, 0.4 of a second, and it looks like it's continuing to expand in the favor of Chad Winstead. Now looking further back, Tyler Hampton going to be behind the number 3 of Austin Bloom. You'll see Alan Kunman, Caleb Morrissey, Ryan Potter, and Terry Brooks as well. All largely single file. No major moves being made. And it looks like that's going to be the way it stays until the caution flies again. Connor Holden going to be the cause, and looks like he'll go around spinning. Maybe contact, maybe not. Back of the field brings out another yellow flag, second of which 34 laps in. And now you're seeing it, Connor Holden there with Kenny Brooks as they come through the first two turns. It looks to be all fine to begin with as the 81 machine's got the advantage. Then the Swamp Motorsports machine touches the apron, and that's going to be the cause of the incident. I mean, that apron, if you get under it, you're going to be swept away, and that's going to bring you your second caution of the night. Yellow flag flies once again for Connor Holden, and 35 laps in of 125, this Chevy Monte Carlo goes around, contact with DJ Stagner, and the yellow flag flies all over again. 35 laps in, second caution of the day, and Chad Winstead will see a few other drivers come down at pit road this time. Looks like Tyler Hampton stays out, but DJ Stagner, Kenny Brooks, looks like in addition Caleb Morrissey all coming through this time. And just like that, pit road gets busy and another run down and in. 36 laps in out of 125. It'll be Chad Winstead, James McKee, Dylan Petit. That is your top three, with Kendall Kerr 4th, Scott Wheeler in 5th, and Adam Bazzi the 6th spot as they're single file all over again. Largely the cause of these yellow flags so far, not overly aggressive racing, but instead just mistakes being made as time has passed. And that's just what happens in longer green flag runs. Drivers might not be paying attention as much inside the cockpit, might not have that aggressive drive in them. That can change how the race goes. It might be a long green flag run, but if someone touches that apron, makes a mistake, big issues can come from that, and luckily it wasn't major this time because Connor Holden was in the back of the field. However, if it were to happen up in front, multiple drivers would have been collected. The apron, it can be devastating. Looks like the choose rule going to be put into place this time by... Going to be time to see it all over again as drivers are coming to the picture. 36 laps in, make it 37. We'll restart at the end of this lap, and it's going to be Chad Winstead once again driving down to the bottom. Looks like it's going to be James McKee once again choosing top. Petit up top, not going to be the case. He'll go down to the low side and let Kendall Kerr keep the second groove as Scott Wheeler is going to be beside Adam Bazzi. Scott Zellner is going to be right behind his championship rival, and now championship aspirations are realistic for Bazzi if he can keep it ahead, as he needs to claw back a total of 23 points in the final two races. Not impossible, but he'll need one hell of a night tonight, and he'll have to keep that momentum into our season finale next week, Thursday night, 9:30 Eastern at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Keep that in mind. Next week going to be another exciting race, and the last of which in season 16 to conclude a thriller of a season. We'll see who gets it done in the championship race, Bazzi or Scott Zellner, the juggernauts as it stand, but Chad Winstead going for his own, going for a win. Green flag flies yet again with Chad Winstead advantageous as the green flag drops for the second restart of the night. And Chad Winstead can have that advantage there with James McKee second, and now Kendall Kerr rounding out the podium. Side-by-side battle for third immediately, and they're going to remain side-by-side through 3 and 4. Now into the Geico restart zone, Kendall Kerr goes way up high, nearly hits the wall, but is going to have to back it down, and Dylan Petit uses that low side momentum to stay right with Kendall. Even if the bottom side might have gotten a bit cut off there, it's that lower side cutting the distance that keeps him in the fight. It's momentum versus distance once again, and Phoenix, not particularly a highly banked track, so not a lot of that camber to rely on as the race goes on. You got to make those decisions, understanding that if you do slide up the track, nothing's going to send you sliding right back down. So understand all the decisions have to be long-term and really thought out. The process of making these calls, it is not easy. Inside the cockpit, a lot of these guys are working on their own, don't have crews around them, spotters or crew chiefs or whatever the sort. A lot of these guys are working one and only. The only thing that might have is the iRacing spotter, which is baked into the software, and it might not be as reliable as an actual person telling you the information outside of your car. So that's really not a lot to play with here. These drivers have to make a lot of decisions on their own, understand the strategy calls, make the right decisions, undercut, overcut, calculate the fuel, make the right calls on tires and tire limits. And we keep that in mind. There are a limit of 4 tire sets in this race. At least one set has been used by every driver so far, if not 2 already, and the fact is we have not even gotten to the halfway point, so I'm not really expecting to see anything more than 1 being used to this point. About the first quarter of this race on its way. From there on out, 42 laps in and 125, still got a ways to go, and drivers are still getting ready. 42 laps in, there's Chad Winstead fighting down. He's got nothing else in front of him, but he's now got some pressure behind James McKee. The only other driver who seemed to be as quick in the very beginning of this race is now right there. The gap separating the two, less than 0.2 of a second. Start finish line, going to see Chad Winstead, the race leader, all over again as they go through the dog leg. Nobody going to make the risk down to the apron there, just trying to play it safe, knowing how far they are up ahead. These leaders are beginning to make that gap. Austin Bloom right now is in 6th, and he's about 1.5 seconds away from your leader. And here in Phoenix, 1.5 seconds might as well be a death sentence for a chance at the win. You'll need a lot to happen ahead of you for any opportunity to make those spots up quickly. So right now, it's going to be all about the formulaic racing up in the front of the field. Every spot matters, but you got to understand how to get those spots and how to keep on gaining. Single file once again. Most of the field is Caleb Morrissey going to be right ahead of Terry Brooks. And right now, the only side-by-side battle for a brief moment would be these two. Brooks goes down to the bottom, can't get much on Morrissey, and stays right behind. 44 laps in at a 125. Terry Brooks, DJ Stagner, Caleb Morrissey, a close bunch in the back of the field. Take a look further up front. Adam Bozzi now going to see some pressure from Austin Bloom, and by proxy, now Scott Zellner getting involved as well. Taking a look on board inside the cockpit of the number 27. We are not. We're looking from the roll bar camera of the number 2. Your top 2 championship drivers are now in frame at the same time, riding on board with your points leader. Second in the championship is just ahead. The Garage Beer 27 currently runs second in the points, and after back-to-back victories at Darlington and Martinsville, Bozzi shot up to the championship lead. And even though Scott Zellner has missed several races this season, he has been the class of the field almost every time he's gone out on the track. So Zellner's got the advantage. However, he is losing points if this is where he finishes compared to Adam Bozzi. Bozzi, though, really needs to get up in that podium and make time, make more distance away from Zellner to gain substantially. Every point matters, that's for certain. Having to claw back 23 points in 2 races, why not get at least half the work done tonight so you have to worry less about Homestead and just running your own race. That's what it's all going to be about, planning out for the final 2 races now. And even though 47 laps into this one, we made some time here, Phoenix is far from over, and things can change. A lot of things can change. And Chad Winstead knows this, as he's now seeing a bit more pressure from James McKee on the back bumper. That time by, James was about 1/10 of a second faster, but just has not found a way around just yet, and stays on the back bumper there. Winstead going to be still leading the way, but has to decide whether or not he's going to fight it, let this number 29 go right through, or if he's going to wait for a mistake, which it looks like he just got. James McKee going to be the wall, and he drops back big. Now going to see his Blacktop Racing teammate and Kendall Kerr right behind, and as that number 21 machine remains in close contention, it's going to be the Good Wrench Chevrolet still in second. the chances of getting back to the lead almost slim to none. At least for now, you're going to wait for that long green flag run to get back going. 49 laps in out of 125 laps. And the caution will fly for the third time tonight, and the reason going to be back of the field, Tyler Hampton, Caleb Morrissey both involved. Yellow flag is out. As the drivers return here, it's going to be an instant replay, 50 laps in out of 125. Take a look at this with Caleb Morrissey. He's going to be involved with Tyler Hampton this time by, and you'll see Hampton there up in the middle groove, Caleb Morrissey down at the bottom, and Morrissey's going to hook right up to the top. We'll find out what happened inside the cockpit there, because that's going to be some troublesome motion hooking it right. And we'll see what's the cause of that one, as Caleb Morrissey just about loses control fully. Might have been an overcorrection. We'll take a look inside to find out a bit more about the situation. I'm going to take another instant replay. This time we're going to be watching on board here with Caleb Morrissey as the channel lock machine finds itself in trouble. Take a look once again. Currently going to be scored in 17th. And it looks like diving deep, just way too deep in the corner, and nothing more that can be done. So Caleb Morrissey finds a lot of trouble, and the yellow flag will fly all the same. 50 laps in out of 125. That is your third caution of the day. And just like that, back under pacing all over again. 51 laps in at a 125. Back to your live feed, and Chad Winstead leads with James McKee second, then Kendall Kurt third, Scott Wheeler fourth, and Adam Bozzi position number 5. Now with the yellow flag out once again, third caution of the day, and overall, that's going to be the biggest wreck we've seen so far. Caleb Morrissey, unfortunately, looks like he just missed the corner there, sent it in a bit too deep, and nothing more he could do, holding it all the way to the left in terms of his steering wheel, and just like that, you're going to come down a pit road. Looks like Connor Holden also going to be there at the same time, and Kenny Brooks, making his way in with Caleb Morrissey, makes his way out. Now, as they come through this time by, shoes rule going to be back in effect. It's going to be the number 34 of Chad Winstead leading the way. James McKee goes up top once again, side by side. Winstead and James McKee going at it all over again. 52 laps in at a 125, and we're going to go back at it for what will be the third restart of the day. Now, we've seen our fair share of green flag laps so far, but as it stands, it hasn't been all too much in terms of pit stop strategy under green. Question is now whether or not we get that, or if there's not enough time, because even though there is a tire set limit, there is no fuel limit. So these drivers can go 100% in terms of fuel capacity and might be able to keep things going until the end of the race. At this rate, 52 laps in and coming closer and closer to our halfway marker, Chad Winstead and James McKee are once again the race leaders, first and second at the start-finish line for the third restart of the day. And Winstead, once again, is your control car. Restart number 3 here, and we get things going once again in the penultimate race of the season. Green flags out, led again by Chad Winstead. And Winstead going to have that edge over James McKee. It's a slight advantage now on the high side, but McKee gets a much better restart than any other time before, and it's enough where he'll send it into 3 and 4 and keep that low line, keep Chad Winstead chasing up at the top. At the line, it's going to be Winstead with the advantage, but almost no momentum, as you'll see he really gets loose and out of control. Now James McKee has the bottom of the first 2 turns, and that's all he'll need to make it right beside Chad Winstead again. And if Chad can't hold on to that second groove, it might as well be a done deal. He's going to get a much better run though. Chad Winstead gets clear, and just like that makes it around James McKee. It looks like even though McKee was putting down that pressure, Chad Winstead responded. He's had that experience up in front and gets right on top. Yellow flag flies once again, as it looks like trouble in the back of the field. Fourth caution of the day. Yellow flag going to be out this time by. Looks like back of the field troubles involving Connor Holden and DJ Stagner once more. Yellow flag is out, and we'll take a look at what just happened, as the instant replay should tell us a bit more. The instant replay will show DJ Stagner there with Austin Bloom, Alan Cummin, and Terry Brooks. So the instant replay sees first Cummin's going to let up, then get into Stagner. DJ gets loose, tries to save it, can't do much of it, spins around, and he's going to go from there and through turn 4. DJ Stagner's going to spin, rest of the field gets away, but it's still going to be a smoke show. And the 4th caution of the day has come out. Yellow flag is out once again, and we're back under pacing. 56 laps in out of 125. So let's get right back into it. Yellow flag once more. It's going to be Chad Winstead leading from James McKee in 2nd, Scott Wheeler in 3rd, and Kendall Kerr then in 4th. And that's the way they roll as the iRacing official pace car back at the head of the field. And I'll tell you this much now, as we get through 56 laps in at 125, we might see some guys come down to pit road. Maybe not the race leaders. It looks like that time by. Not going to be the case. Most drivers opt to stay out on the track. So most of those leaders indeed still on the same strategy. Not bad at all when it comes to your front runners right now, running a great race to this point, but there's still a ways to go to really capitalize upon what they've done so far, especially for Chad Winstead, who is of course your race leader. He's led almost every lap bomb today so far. Consistency has been his key, and checking the overall laps led statistic, 43 led out of 55 so far, set to be his 44th this time by. And now 1 lap to green, it's going to be Winstead at the bottom, James McKee up top, and the pace car set to leave for another lap, and they'll go right back at it. 57 laps in, it'll end, and we'll be just about 5 laps away from halfway by the time we get restarted for the 4th time tonight. Pace car set to go down and in, letting Chad Winstead and James McKee get right back to work. The 34 machine, once again the control car. However, there was a lot of pressure the lap prior to James McKee's end. He was putting a lot more in, almost gone up to James McKee. It was Chad Winstead also trying to get there, and the pressure is building for your top 3 drivers. Winstead, McKee, and Wheeler all racing harder now, and with the last half of the race just ahead of us, we might see a bit more aggression as we get back to the green flag, this time by restart number 4. Here we go again with Chad Winstead leading us back to the green, underway once more in Avondale. It's still going to be a race led by James McKee, as it's going to be Winstead fading back to 2nd. Now Scott Wheeler is going to be on the inside line as well. Big shuffle to the restart as Austin Bloom is going to be with James McKee. Looks like now going to be also with Ryan Bonner, Terry Brooks, and the entirety of the field is in a bundle as the 29 gets away and now has the top spot on the board. Very big run for the number 29 of James McKee. He's got that top spot now. Chad Winstead going to hold his own in 2nd. Then from there going to be Scott Wheeler in 3rd and Kendall Kerr in 4th. As 59 laps in, changes have been made, and we've got ourselves a new race leader. All of a sudden now, the number 97 goes way down to the bottom side. Kendall Kerr going to be up top, and they'll be slicing the dice in as they come through lap after lap, make it now to lap number 60. All over again. Scott Wheeler going to find himself in trouble. Big wreck. Up and over Austin Bloom goes. It's the big one at Phoenix, and chaos is going to ensue. Terry Brooks is going to get involved, and it looked like the number 3 of Austin Bloom went up and over, got back on all 4s, and the caution flies again. The biggest of the night. 5th caution at the halfway point, and we'll take a look at it from the eye in the sky to find out what really caused it. And looks like Bozzi and Zellner right there. Looks like it's going to be Austin Bloom trying to take them 3, and the number 3 machine goes down to the bottom side and again gets that contact from Scott Wheeler, sent up and over, gets up on the wall, and the rest of the field destroyed in the process. Kendall Kerr involved, Caleb Morrissey, Scott Zellner is going to get in it, and so does Adam Bozzi. They're 2 championship contenders there, both involved in this wreck, which means it's still near equal. 61 laps in of 125, and chaos ensues, and a good majority of the field gets caught up in it. Your front runners in points, top 5 drivers in the race, and just like that, we have a chaotic way to bring us back down to pit road. James McKee gonna bring him in. Chad Winstead right there too, and just as soon as Chad Winstead loses the lead, he's got a chance to gain it all over again. Pit road exit, very quick to move through, and now 61 laps in, back on the way. It's going to be time to see who wins off pit road for the 2nd cycle of the night. And now as the drivers get ready to roll out once again, it's going to be Dylan Petit with a big advantage. He jumps out well, hot start, and now going to bring James McKee with them as Chad Winstead gets beaten at the line. Then Alan Kunman's going to go with the pair just ahead of him. It looks like now Kenny Brooks gets back on the way. Substantial damage to a majority of the field here, and just like that, caution will fly all over again. Fifth caution of the day. It is going to be now James McKee, your race leader, as we now have 62 laps on the board at a 125. Yellow flag flies yet again. Ryan Potter is now going to be scored as the leading driver, as a matter of fact, with Tyler Hampton second, DJ Stagner third, and Dylan Petit in fourth. So some big changes overall in terms of the time and scoring standings. A few drivers making big moves up, others not so much. So trouble is going to give some guys an edge, other drivers fading back big as we're set to use the choose rule once again next time by. Halfway down and halfway to go. It's going to be 63 laps remaining now. And just like that, first half out the way. Now to move on to what's next. As the rest of the field has gotten lined up, ready for the action. It's going to be Dylan Petit on the bottom, Ryan Potter up top. Now 1 lap to green. A quick choose rule there would go to show that Dylan Petit opts to go to the bottom. Control cars, for the most part, have gone down low. Ryan Potter, who started strong, has had some trouble since. Now is a chance to rebound and put himself back in good standing for a solid podium finish. The fight is back on with James McKee on the bottom side. Chad Winstead there as well. Green flag and get on its way once again. Fifth restart of this event. 63 laps to go. Going to come down to only 62 laps remaining. And this time by, we'll get back on the roll. The first restart of the second half. And it kicks off here and now. Back on the way through the Geico restart zone. They'll grab a gear and move on in Arizona. Fifth restart of the night is on the move. Ryan Potter gets that advantage, and he's going to keep himself in the race lead. Nice and smooth way to start the run there, but Dylan Petit keeps the pressure on, and Tyler Hampton now finds himself in third. Looks like James McKee also going to be there too, side by side between Ryan Potter and Dylan Petit, as Dylan takes it all the way down to the dog leg, and it's an advantage into turns 1 and 2. Huge edge there for Dylan Petit as he cuts on an awful lot of distance, and that's the gamble you got to make in a situation like this to gain time and gain that top spot. Dylan Petit has been dangerously close to a race win all season long, multiple podium finishes all throughout the season, and no signs of letting up just yet. So tonight he keeps himself in close competition with all the front runners, and now's a chance to pull it home for a race win. 60 laps remaining. Far from done so far, but he's got a ways to go to really prove what he's got in store. It's Petit leading from James McKee, and now going to be Ryan Potter in third. Top 3 shifts all over again. Alan Cumman going to be fourth. Hampton then going to be fifth, and Chad Winstead position number 6. It's going to be 2 by 2, 2 lanes deep, and you're going to see there that 66 laps in, Cummins been able to get himself back just within the confines of the top 5, and now it's going to be Chad Winstead wiggling up the track with Ryan Potter shuffling too, and Potter's going to lose a spot in the meantime. Number 99 fades back and might give way as well to Tyler Hampton. Tyler Hampton coming through this time by that number 14 machine, the Burger King Chevy Monte Carlo. It's an Impala tonight, as a matter of fact, has made its way up just outside the top 5, and with 58 laps to go, the front runners are coming through, baking it by lap car Caleb Morrissey. Morrissey having some trouble tonight after getting a solid start, getting involved in that most recent caution, really going to do him in, and now Morrissey remains on the high side, leaders dodging him as they're side by side for the top spot all over again. Dylan Petit up top, now going to be James McKee way down low, and 69 laps in, the battle for lead nicely continues as they'll keep it straight and keep it up ahead. 31 Machine's got the advantage right now, but James McKee remains on the back bumper. Take a look at how close they are this time by as they come across what was the front straightaway into turns 3 and 4. Start finish line just ahead, and Petit's got himself the race lead again, and that lead lap bonus back and forth between these two drivers. And even though Chad Chad Winstead led the early segment of this race. It might go down to these two in terms of who gets that most laps led bonus, because Chad Winstead led just about 48 laps on the day, and with 56 to go, if Dylan or James McKee were able to keep this one in their hands for the remainder of the night, it could be the bonus that heads their way, as opposed to either the 31 or 29 getting it. Right now, it is in the hands indeed of Winstead, but maybe that will change. Chad Winstead right now going to be in the 4th position, finding himself just behind Alan Cunman. Alan makes it up into the podium, and just like that, the driver of the number 8 machine looking for that rebound run to keep his season on the move. Why not get some momentum to move on to season 17? At this rate, that is what a lot of these drivers are planning for the next season, 17 of which. And right now, while many drivers are out of the championship contention, the guys who are battling for a title have certainly changed spots, because Adam Bozzi right now is in 7th, and right now it looks like Scott Zellner is down in 13th, so someone is making big moves, and looks like right now the advantage is clearly in Bozzi's favor as another driver spins. Terry Brooks for caution number 6. Brooks goes around, yellow flag will fly, and with 54 laps to go, we're back under caution once again. And looking back at the instant replay, Terry Brooks going to be the reason for this yellow flag. And taking a look once again, you'll see that number 23 wiggling with Ryan Potter, then goes off the quarter panel, and Brooks is going to go all the way around, make a full 360 back up, and just like that, yellow flag will fly once again. It's going to be the caution flying for Terry Brooks and the number 23 team, as with 53 laps remaining, yellow flag is out. Instant replay goes to show how quick it can happen here in Phoenix, and that's going to cause another caution here with 53 laps remaining. Pace car leads the way with Dylan Petit and James McKee, your top 2 drivers. Alan Cunman, Chad Winstead, and Adam Bozzi round out the top 5. And as they come through, this time by the driver of the number 31, Dylan Petit, has the advantage. Coming through this time around, it's going to be the 73rd lap, making it to lap number 74. More than halfway in, we've seen our fair share of big moments tonight. Austin Bloom, the first retiree, but for the most part, everyone else in the field is still going. Damage aside, a lot of drivers still have the capability to battle for spots, and the championship has changed drastically in terms of the picture. Scott Zellner runs outside the top 10. Adam Bozzi runs inside of the top 5, and that's the biggest difference right now. Bozzi, who's trying to make up any point he can on that number 2, now has a clear chance to do so and has to utilize it to his advantage, knowing that 52 laps to go. This could be the opportunity to set yourself up nicely for the Homestead Miami Speedway, the next race on the tour, in the final race of season 16. MDLXL, Austin Bloom, BRTV, all in chat, and for all those who have come by tonight, thank you all for stopping by. Hope you've enjoyed tonight's presentation. Of course, just getting started here, and Phoenix Raceway always delivers at the end of the night as much as it does in the beginning. So keep it with us here live on FTN. It's a very fair night in terms of the virtual Phoenix Raceway's conditions. Now, with 51 laps to go as it stands, it's going to be a total of about 16 drivers left on the track. 79 degrees Fahrenheit in terms of the air temperature, with northbound winds of about 7 miles an hour and partly cloudy skies. However, your track temperature is 98 degrees Fahrenheit. So the difference is nearly 20 full degrees between air temperature and the track temp. The track is sizzling, and it will continue to burn as the race goes on. That is a major difference for good reason, because these drivers put all those laps in on warm surface already. From 80 degrees, you can quite easily get up to the triple digits. Right now, for the drivers, they're lucky they have not gotten up to that point. However, that could happen in the final 50 laps. We'll be set to go back green with what looks to be 49 laps to go, as a matter of fact. Take the weather off your screen, as the choose rule is going to be back in full swing. It's going to be Dylan Petit looking to go down low, and that he will. Takes it down to the bottom once again. That will give James McKee the shot to go up high, and that he does. McKee goes up top. Alan Cunman goes 3rd. Now it's going to be Chad Winstead 4th, and Adam Bozzi rounding out the top 5 as everyone makes their choices. And with 50 laps to go, that's the way they'll lock themselves in for the final run of the night. 76 laps in, we've gotten through nearly 3/4 of this race and the final stretch just ahead of us. 50 laps remaining. Dylan Petit's got that race lead, and we'll see how much longer he can hold on to it as the iRacing official pace car comes in this time by Petit, McKee, Winstead. That is your top three with Alan Cumming right there as well. Green flag set to fly this time by, and the iRacing official pace car will let him loose all over again. Here we go. Green flag set to drop, and it's going to be in the hands of Dylan Petit. Green flag is out with 49 laps left, and it's going to be Dylan Petit's number 31 leading us back to the green flag. Alan Cumming drops down on the bottom side with one driver going way up high. Looks like Kenny Brooks. He keeps it in the wall and gets back on the way. Green flag for now as a few drivers scuff it up with the wall, but otherwise all going to be green as Dylan Petit takes it around the track once again with that advantage and maintains the spots he's got. Petit, Alan Cumming, second there. The number 8 machine is, and it looks like James McKee now going to move up to that runner-up spot with some quick motion lap after lap. Positions are still changing, and it looks like now McKee makes it up to the runner-up spot. Catbird seat is his, and Dylan Petit still has that race lead. Not done just yet as the number 31 machine's got the overall advantage, and fighting just beyond, the good Wrench Chevrolet has got pressure, and it's in spades. Single file for the most part, so every driver chasing the man directly ahead of him, and almost no in between. DJ Stagner now going to be up there with Ryan Potter and Connor Holden, the Swamp Motorsport drivers going at it, and nearly 3 wide, which has been an all very uncommon practice throughout the night. Connor Holden's going to rough DJ Stagner up, and Holden's up in the wall, keeps it there. No caution as a result, but definitely very tricky to go 3 wide, and that's the immediate consequence. Connor Holden fades back quick and lets the rest of his team get right by. So just like that, DJ Stagner going to be up into 7th. It's going to be Ryan Potter now up into 8th, and Kendall Kerr's going to make up a spot at the same time. Kendall moves up to 9th as Connor's going to remain the final driver inside of the top 10. 46 laps to go as it stands, 80 laps in, and they continue to keep things going quite nicely with Dylan Petit leading and James McKee then in second. 46 laps to go, coming down to what will be 45, and it's going to be Dylan Petit and James McKee first and second respectively. Adam Bosby, when it comes to the points race, is a very fair situation for his sake, and as it stands, he holds on well in 5th, while his championship rival and overall points leader coming into this race, Scott Zellner, holds his own in the 15th place. And this is a troublesome night for Zellner, but he's got to keep on going no matter what. He's not going to finish in last. However, he's not going to be in any competition for the top 5. Given all that damage, 44 laps to go, really nothing more he can do but try to run with the back of the field and still making solid enough pace to run around with guys like Ty Smith or Kenny Brooks at the back half of this campaign. And it looks like right now with 44 to go, your points leader really struggling here, but he's got to keep on fighting, knowing every point will matter, and if there's even a chance to make up more spots, you got to keep on going for it, even if it may never come. Dylan Petit now going to lead the way with 43 laps remaining, and James McKee still going to be there second in that runner-up spot. Alan Cumming going to be third, Chad Winstead then 4th. DJ Stagner concludes the top 5, and Ryan Potter going to be in the position number 6. Top 10 is going to see another driver involved in an incident. DJ Stagner sent up way high to the wall, and he's going to have to ride that wall all the way up to the top of the track, and not much more he can do there as Connor Holden's going to spin, and a yellow flag flies immediately thereafter for the 7th time. Connor Holden, a lazy 360, and either way brings out the yellow flag, and the caution is out with 42 laps to go. And multiple incidents at the same time will bring out the yellow flag. Connor Holden's in particular, though, is the real cause of the yellow flag as the spin was detected and brings out the automatic yellow. So the Swamp Motorsports number 81 lifts up the track slowly but surely and gets loose on its own, and that's going to bring out the yellow flag, spinning quick, and just like that, back under yellow. How about it? Connor Holden gets going, but could have been much more trouble there as we're back under caution. 41 laps to go. Getting right back at it, though. We've got a ways to go here at the caution does not end the racing. We'll see if drivers come down to pit road. Alan Cumming fakes it, doesn't opt to go for it, and just like that, we'll keep things going all the same. James McKee, Alan Cumming, Chad Winstead, Ryan Potter, that is your top 5 as we run. And as we have a bit of time here with 41 laps remaining, we'll take a brief Fireball Talks non-stop break and return before the action begins once again, exclusively on FTN. We'll be right back after this brief set of promotional messages, exclusively live on the Fireball Talks NASCAR YouTube channel.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And coming back now with 39 laps remaining, shoes rule going to be put in use this time by it's Dylan Petit and James McKee. First and second respectively, returning after a caution flag, DJ Stagner, Connor Holden, separate incidents at the same time, bring us back under pacing, and here we go again. Looks like it's going to be Dylan Petit opting to go down to the bottom while James McKee rides up high, and with 38 laps to go, we'll restart with only 37, and that will lead us through to the final leg of this campaign, the penultimate race of Season 16, and it might just be the penultimate race of 2023 for the Highline Racing League as they look forward to what's next in their 17th season coming up by, at the latest, February of 2024. And we're looking ahead to the future, but we've still got ourselves a champion to crown, and tonight, a race winner to crown, as tomorrow we'll wait, and it'll be until next Thursday night. We'll wait indeed until the Homestead Miami Speedway brings us the final race of this season. 38 laps to go this time by. Dylan Petit going to be the race leader, and he's got him in control once again. Restarting with a 31 as your leading driver. Here we go. Green flag and a fly yet again, and it's going to be led by Dylan Petit. Back on our way with 37 laps to go. It's a big jump out in front for Alan Cumming to make it right back up to third. You're also going to see there Kendall Kerr fighting at the same time, and a lot of drivers making big moves on that immediate jump off the line. Just like that, you're going to see Dylan Petit's got the advantage, but it's going to be James McKee right there with them, still keeping them honest lap after lap. 37 laps to go as it stands, making it down to 36, and the number 31 machine has not been able to keep it out of pressure. It's not out of harm's way just yet, as you'll see there, James James McKee is, keeping it right behind the number 29. Lap after lap is Kendall Kerr, but right now the teammates are laying off each other as James McKee tries to do the work and get by Dylan Petit, which just has not been possible so far tonight. Overall, Dylan Petit has led now a total of 25 laps out of 89, and while he might have not led the most laps so far on the day, with 35 to go, there's a chance to lead over 60 if he can just keep it out in front until the very end. But that's easier said than done given the competition right behind him. McKee, Kendall Kerr, Tyler Hampton, all coming through at the same time, and they're all gunning down that spot that's just ahead of them, knowing if they can get there, there's a firm chance to make it by, make some passes even more so, and it could be the number 21 machine of Kendall Kerr who chases down his teammate who could go for the race win in his own right. He won once this season already at Rockingham, and it was a good enough victory for him to put himself early in the championship fight. Has cooled off ever since that point. However, Kendall Kerr not done yet, and if he's got enough speed, he'll take it down to the bottom side and make the move. That he does now. James McKee getting on the second layer, and now it's going to be side by side between Blacktop Racing teammates as they come across the line yet again. 33 laps to go. This time by still 16 drivers on the track, and very few have given up just yet as the fight is still on up at the head of the field. Even Tyler Hampton now going to be getting involved, and as Hampton makes it down the front straightaway, the former front straightaway, he's got the number 29 on his outside. Now Allen coming in behind, and he's got Kendall Kerr just ahead. It's a Blacktop Racing sandwich with 33 laps to go, and every driver in this mix is making time very, very quick. That time by 28.02 for Dylan Petit as opposed to a 27.406. So tire wear is indeed coming to the play once again. With 32 laps to go on this run of strategy, James McKee nearly breaks it up with another caution, but he's going to be able to save it and stay on the track. A very close call there for James McKee. He does lose time, but does not lose full control, and he's going to keep us on the green as a result. That could have been a disastrous run there. That could have been up the track and into another driver. Luckily, James McKee taps the wall, gets things going once again, and keeps it out of harm's way for the large part, and now knows he can get back up there, even fight for the podium if there's still enough pace. But either way, defending for a top 5 finish with Alan Cunman and Adam Bozzi knocking on the door. Cunman's got 5th, Bozzi's got 6th right now, but that could change as James McKee wants to keep himself up here, but he might have too much damage to do so, and we'll see how it plays out in the dying laps of this event. 96 laps in, this time by, it's going to be Dylan Petit making it through. He's got Kendall Kerr on the bottom side now, the number 21 machine looking for the race lead. Lunges down on the bottom, takes that all the way down low at the line. He'll wash up though. The minor advantage is Kendall Kerr's, and a new race leader now with this number 21. He was fantastic at Bristol, could not execute in the second half, and now it looks like making up for his earlier mistakes in the season. It's going to be now Kendall Kerr leading from Dylan Petit, and Tyler Hampton coming through as well. Hampton to the wall, and big. James McKee's collected at the same time. Caution will fly immediately thereafter as an immediate stack up brings us back to the caution. Yellow flag is out with 29 laps to go, and just like that, trouble ensues, and it looks like it starts with a stack up. Tyler Hampton and James McKee involved. Instant replay will show you more. Caution is out, 28 laps remaining, and it's going to be Adam Bozzi there with Kendall Kerr and also the remainder of the leading pack. Hampton's in the wall. It looks like it's going to be Cunman tapping James McKee, sending him around, and an immediate 360 brings the field back to a standstill with 28 laps remaining, and I think this might be the time for drivers to come back down to pit road given how many have been able to run on a very long stint. Looks like Kendall Kerr's one of his for 24 laps. Looks like Dylan Petit for 36. And now they'll come in this time by as pit road gonna get busy. We'll see who gets out first. That's how Dylan Petit got the lead, a gutsy strategy call, and we'll find out whether or not he can make a call again to get back out there as it's time to find out who's got what it takes down on pit road with 27 laps remaining. DJ Stagner gonna be coming in this time by. He comes in a bit later than the rest of those fighting for the race win, and as they come through this time by, it's make or break. So who gets to jump out first? It looks like it's going to be Dylan Dylan Petit widen away as now Chad Winstead, Kendall Kerr, Scott Wheeler come through. Terry Brooks and Kenny Brooks immediately follow after the fact, but it's going to be a quick run there once again for Dylan Petit to gain time on pit road is an awful lot, and it looks like he gets exactly what he needs and then some. So Dylan Petit gains a big few drivers out to stay on the track right now. Adam Bozzi, Ryan Potter, and Ty Smith. So a gamble now going to be in play as the number 27 of Adam Bozzi, who's looking to come out of the night with a chance at the championship, leads the way, and he knows how big a third victory in the season would be for him. Now Bozzi has an opportunity for the title. Scott Zellner still does as well. He came in the points leader by 23 points, so tonight still far in his reach at the same time, but he's got a lot more damage to keep an eye on because he's 13th right now and has not been close to the top 10 for the past 50 laps. So Zellner's had trouble. He's not done just yet, but he's got to find a way to get back into the picture here as the leading battle might not be for him. Given the right side damage you'll see on your screen, the hood getting popped up, not as bad as it was before. However, he's taking extensive damage repair to get to this point, and it's still going to be a much slower ride than that of his championship rival Bozzi. 23 points separating the top two guys with 2 races to go. That's what they came in on, and for Scott Zellner, he's had to work with less races in the season because he's made less races and still has that points lead. Bozzi's made just about every night so far on the tour, and that's where he got his run started at Darlington. Not a big attendance at the track, too tough to tame. Either way, Bozzi got the win, getting it done for the first time, then winning an action-packed Martinsville event, and that's what put him in championship contention to kick off this run that keeps him now just a few points away from gaining the top spot all over again. 25 laps to go. This time by going to come down to only 24 next time around, and it's going to be a short dash to the finish. From this point onward, 101 in out of 125. This is your 8th yellow flag of the day, nearing the double digits, but it has been overall a largely green flag night. Few yellow flags interspersed in between, and hoping to finish it off with this being the final restart of the day. Restart number 8. iRacing official pace car will drop down to the inside line and let the field get right back at it. Time to show them what they're made of, with Bozzi leading, Ryan Potter second, and Ty Smith in third. New tires have that advantage, and we'll see whether or not this plays out well. If it becomes a bit of a disaster, we've seen before, those old tires sometimes give out way too quick. And who's going to have the lead? Who else but Bozzi, currently second in the points. Green flag going to fly with Adam Bozzi in control, and here we go again. Ty Smith gets off slow, but we're green from Phoenix. And a nice shot there for Adam Bozzi to keep that race lead, and it looks like it'll work out quite well for him, while Dylan Petit makes it now under Ryan Potter to go for the second spot. Runner-up now going to be his with 23 remaining. Adam Bozzi leads the way, and 23 laps to go. There are indeed. They go through the dogleg, and now just like that, Bozzi's got the advantage with 22 laps to go this time by. As always, we'll crank it up with the best camera providers on the iRacing market, TrackCams22.com, for over 100 track and card combinations options. Visit TrackCams for Gormans at TrackCams22.com after tonight's event, as we will crank it up live on FTN with 22 laps to go. Shut the crank it down off for a little while. We'll get it from crank it up and make it crank it down. The yellow flag flies again with 22 laps to go. 9th of which on the day, and a fast one here as we try to get it going with 22 to go. We'll postpone the crank it up. It looks like it could be Connor Holden involved yet again. Instant replay, going to see whether or not that is indeed the case, and let's check it out now. 21 laps to go. Coming down, Ty Smith going to hit Connor Holden. They'll make contact, and it's going to be contact indeed once again. Connor Holden, and it looks like like Ty Smith, and once more some trouble for this number 81 machine. Yellow flag is out with 21 laps to go. Caution is going to fly here, and here we go again. It's going to be now Connor Holden laying back, getting that caution, of course, now in 14th on the running order. And the final laps are now just ahead of us. 20 laps to go and still counting down. A majority of this race has been decided upon for these drivers. And now to find out whether or not it's going to be Dylan Petit holding on. Can Adam Bozzi make it there for a podium finish? What does Chad Winstead still have in store? Because he's still up in the mix. And even though drivers like Scott Wheeler or Kendall Kerr, Ryan Potter, James McGee, or anyone else of the sort have been a bit quieter as the night's gone on, they're still there as well. And with 106 laps on the board so far, the fight is not over. 20 laps to go. This time by 106 in out of 125. And we'll see a variety of drivers, a variety of manufacturers coming together to fight for the race win. And you'll see right now it's going to be led not by a Chevy, not by a Ford, but tonight it's got a Dodge up in front. The Mopar Power is going to be up in the top seat. Then from there, you're going to see it's going to be Bozzi in second in a Ford. In addition, Chad Winstead, also in a blue oval, will be running in third right now, with Scott Wheeler in the mix as well in that fourth spot. Fifth place then going to be held by Kendall Kerr. Then to where the bow ties come in, and Ryan Potter tonight going to be unbadged, but it looks like a Chevy Monte Carlo also there just outside of the top five in the sixth position. So variety of manufacturers represented tonight, and it looks like now the yellow flag going to be back out and on the way. 19 to go. We'll be restarting at the end of 18 to go, and it will be indeed only a 17-lap dash to finish things off. As they come through this time by, it's going to be through 3 and 4. We get back on a roll. 107 laps in so far. It's been a thrilling night of action, but it's far from done. The finish is ahead of us, and we hopefully see it happen under green. Only one overtime attempt need be, and the choose rule now going to be in full effect. As the drivers come by, you're going to see them go high or low, and we'll follow them there to see who makes the call as the choose rule is back in play for what could be the final time tonight. Dylan Petit drops down low. Bozzi's going to go up high, and you'll see the entirety of the field make their call after the start-finish line. Looks like a majority of them have already made that decision, and now the start-finish line is empty. Time to head back to your race lead and feed. It's the 31 up to the high side. Adam Bozzi will go, but Dylan Petit's Dodge stays in the lead. 18 laps to go this time by. We'll have only 17 to seal the deal and see who's got the best stuff left. Pace car is down in this time by with Dylan Petit, your race leader. Here we go again. Chad Winstead going to be behind your race leader. The top driver on the board is still that number 31, but still isn't done just yet. Who's going to be able to make through and make it maybe as a surprise? Could your man, runner-up in points, make it through with the race win? Questions are still left to be answered, and now time to find out what's left. Green flag going to fly with 17 laps to go, led by Dylan Petit on to lap 109. And as always, live on FTN, Tangle Paint presents to you lap 109 and all of the action here in the Highline Racing League and all of our broadcasts live on FTN. If you want to check them out, visit Tangle Paint on Twitter for more information. As with 17 laps remaining, we'll bring you your final Tangle Paint promotional break of the night. And returning now with 16 laps left. It's going to be coming down even 15. The laps are still winding down, and through the dog leg they'll go once again. It's going to be Dylan Petit, 111 laps in, making it through, and the front of the board still sees that number 31 shining up at the top of the pylon. Dylan Petit breaks away from Chad Winstead once again. Winstead still occupies the second spot. Runner-up has been his for quite some time now. And Adam Bozzi is going to be in third in the number 27 Old Tire matters at all. Adam Bosby's still kicking and has enough left in him to make it to the end of the race in terms of the overall strategy, but we'll see whether or not he'll be quick enough to hold on the third here as the pressure is mounting. Scott Wheeler coming through, not to mention James McKee, and these drivers, while not directly involved in the championship battle to the same extent, they're still going to battle as hard as they can to make it around Bosby, although Adam continues to defend big time, and you'll see now as they come through once again, Scott Wheeler going to take it down to the bottom side. He's still looking for room. Kendall Kerr's just going to follow Bosby in, and they're going to lunge at him each and every time they can. Now with 13 laps to go, make those moves, get aggressive, take risks. That's what you got to do, as Kendall Kerr's going to go up high and trying to send it around the outside here. That might be the move for Kendall Kerr, as the number 21 machine wants to use that momentum. If you got it, why not use it? And that's the game plan, as Kendall Kerr goes around the high side and gets that run. 12 laps to go. Nice move there for the Lucas Oil Chevrolet, but it has not been completed just yet. Bosby still remains on the bottom, trying to make something stick, but doesn't look like it's going to work that time. Kendall Kerr gets back up to the podium. Nice move there, and just like that, Kerr's going to be inside the top 3 with 12 laps to go. Make it only 11 though, as Chad Winstead and Dylan Petit are running away. Dylan's got the race lead. Chad Winstead is still chasing, and they're fighting each other till the last lap. The way things are looking, it's your top 2 drivers still getting away and fighting further and further at the head of the field. The gap now between second and third is a second and a half. Top 2 drivers have really broken through and now find themselves on the perfect track for a battle for the win. But the question is, who's on track for the race win in itself? Could go either way, and it looks like so far it still is in the hands of Dylan Petit. With 10 laps to go, that could change in a moment's notice. Scott Zellner are going to see some trouble and now fade back even further. However, he's still in 8th now, and it looks like despite Adam Bosby having a major advantage before, Zellner's put it back together, has continued to try to repair that damage, and extensive efforts have been made to get to this point. It might not be the perfect night for Scott Zellner, but it's enough to give himself a fighting chance, even still in the championship race, as Bosby's older tires have not worked out how he'd like them to. 9 laps to go, and the single digits are winding down, but Bosby really needs this one to end sometime soon. Every lap becoming a bit more dreadful each and every time around, because when you're defending at this rate, drivers get impatient and they will move you up the track. They'll move you all around, knowing that you are slower and they want to get by. And James McKee not playing in the games right now. He already nearly got to the back bumper and tapped Bosby once, if not twice. So Bosby's going to be in a very, very hard territory to shake other drivers, because he's slower right now and he's getting moved out the way. James McKee gets the bumper up to the 27 once again. Has not made any official move, but certainly showing he's not happy at all with how Bosby's trying to hold on despite the age on his tire. 31 laps on this run, older than anyone else in the field with the exception of Ryan Potter. And right now, Bosby's going to be sent up high. James McKee drops down low. And if Scott Zellner makes it around this number 27, the championship race really going to be in his favor when it all is said and done. 7 laps to go, coming down with what will be only 6. Dylan Petit is still right there, but Chad Winstead now making room. Number 34 machine trying to find that opportunity. Take a look at the wiggle. Dylan Petit is going to slide big, and that might be enough for Chad Winstead to make something happen here as we ride on board with the number 34. He's still going to be right behind, though, when it comes to the race lead. Petit has it, but he has not been able to really make that gap any wider. And with some mistakes maybe being put into play, Chad Winstead's got a shot now, as you'll see Dylan Petit goes way wide, and not enough as they'll both go all the way up to the top of the wall and maximize that exit. And that's all you got to do right now at 5 laps remaining. Maximizing every opportunity, any chance you can have to maybe make something better, you got to take it. There is no room for any error now. 5 to go, coming down to what will be 4. Dylan wiggles once again, way high. Chad Winstead's going to take it. He drops immediately down to the bottom. At the stripe, Dylan's got the edge, but not by much. It's still going to be Dylan Petit, but Chad Winstead there in second as the caution will fly. We'll head to overtime to finish this race. Kunman, Bosby, both spin and get rolling once again. We're heading to overtime for our first and only green-white checkered attempt. Instant replay going to show Dylan Batiste here, but let's take it back to where the wreck occurred. Alan Cummin going to be involved this time by, looked to be with Adam Bozzi, and it looks like one of your championship contenders falling out of the run-in here. Bozzi's going to be on the bottom, catches up to the apron, and he's going to wiggle up top. Cummin's not going to expect it, doesn't stop, and ends up making that big-time contact, and just like that, yellow flag is out. This is the only extra lap attempt that we have, so we're only stretching it as far as we possibly can go. 123 laps in at a 125, one green flag checkered attempt. So it's going to be green, white, and that is it. If we get to the white flag, no matter what, that's the race. So this will be the official race distance regardless of circumstance. And now drivers getting ready, knowing that if it's going to be done now, well, it's got to be as quick as possible. A caution in any segment of the field will have this race end under yellow, no matter who causes it, no matter why it's caused. The race now hangs in the balance of the entire field, as effectively the race could end early as opposed to ending under green. And now, just like that, 3 laps to go. The race has been extended for a final time. So the race is going to be the biggest in terms of its lap count possible. One extra overtime attempt, and that's going to bring us as far as we possibly can go. So here, in terms of the Highline Racing League's procedure, it's a bit different. If we have to extend the race, we do so once, so we're surpassing 125 of our scheduled laps, going as far as we need to. Looks like about 127 will be necessary for tonight's race. So no matter what happens, no matter if there's a caution, no matter if we get to the white flag under green, that's the official distance. So regardless of circumstance, if there's a caution or not, however we end up, it will be the official result. So we will not have any further extensions. The race will end no matter what at lap 127. Under no circumstances can we possibly extend it now. And we've taken that one extension, and it will be a 2-lap dash to finish this night off. 11 o'clock on the eastern seaboard, and we're about an hour's away here from a Friday, not necessarily a night, but the earliest of early mornings, and now could be 128. One extra lap under caution here. And as we get into it, the iRacing official pace cars got the edge over Dylan Batiste, Chad Winstead, and Kendall Kerr. As we'll head into it for our first and only overtime run. We'll be right back after an iRacing.com promotional break. Black Friday sales have begun on iRacing, so if you want to join the top online sim in all the world, check out iRacing.com for more information, as we'll be right back after this brief final promotional break.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And coming through this time by, it's going to be a 2-lap dash at the absolute most. Green, white, checkered attempt. It's going to be Dylan Batiste and Chad Winstead with the advantage. Last time we had a green-white checkered attempt, it did end under yellow, hoping not to see such a fate. Coming through this time by side on level footing, same age on the tire. The 31 machine gets the jump, and Dylan Batiste's on the move. Green flags out yet again, and they're already going to be spinning. Is that the caution? It looks like it will be. Race is over, and just like that, we end under caution, and it's going to be a destruction of the back of the field. And how about that? Yellow flag is out, and it looks like that will be it. Ryan Potter involved, Caleb Morrissey looks to be involved, and that will end tonight's event at Phoenix. Looks like Dylan Petit gets home with the win, but Chad Winstead looks like he got involved with the wreck. Let's take a look at just how that happened here. We'll take a look at the number 34 machine in particular. As we got back going, Kendall Kerr is going to make contact, and they'll rocket up to the top. Winstead hit by Ty Smith. Ryan Potter eventually spins, and that will be it. Looks like Dylan Petit locks it down, and just like that, the race is over. And just like that, Dylan Petit will come home. He's been waiting for this one for a while, and tonight he fought like a hell of a driver, and as he did one all season long, he pulls through and finally gets that chance for the checkered flag at the stripe. Dylan Petit will win from Phoenix and get it done in the Racing Warehouse 125. And the number 31 gets it done with Kendall Kerr in second, Scott Wheeler third, and we'll read out the results to end the night. Dylan Petit will win from Kendall Kerr in second and Scott Wheeler in third. James McKee going to be fourth, and Scott Zellner rounds out in the top five. Then from there, going to be Terry Brooks in sixth, Ty Smith seventh, Kenny Brooks in eighth, and DJ Stagner ninth, with Alan Cumming then in 10th. Then from there, going to be 11th, occupied by Caleb Morrissey. Adam Bozzi going to be 12th, with Ben 13th, Ryan Potter, Chad Winstead 14th. Tyler Hampton, Connor Holden, and Austin Bloom are your retirees for tonight's race as the celebration is set to begin for Dylan Petit and the number 31 crew, waiting oh so long to come to this point and getting it done. It's now victory lane for the 31 machine as Dylan Petit will bring it home in an action-packed race here in Phoenix. And for Dylan Petit, the strategy played out quite nicely on pit road, and for the moment he got up there inside the podium, he never let go. Knew that the strategy came down to an overtime finish, wait for that caution, and he did just that. Running a lap now in reverse, Dylan Petit gets it done, and the number 31 machine locks it back down, puts it back right way forward. Either way, continues the celebration. Top three interviews await after the burnout concludes here. Dylan Petit will get it done. Checker flag is his in the Racing Warehouse 125 as the Menards Dodge Charger will bring it back to the start-finish line and presumably park it at the stripe. And with the motor blown, not much else can be done for Dylan Petit's number 31 machine. Checkered flag is his, winning. And tonight he had Phoenix in his hands. The 31 will get it done, and the checkered flag will go to Dylan Petit as he'll come through as a race winner here in the Highline Racing League. Phoenix tonight, a chaotic event. A lot of strategy came into play. Some chaos, especially with that overtime attempt. But you made it through, you got it done, and Dylan Petit, you come home a winner here in the Racing Warehouse 125. How does it feel coming through here at the Phoenix Raceway?
I just got a couple of quick, short things to say. First off, finally, and second, let's go! Woo! Oh my gosh, I have been, I've been waiting. I think it's been like 2.5 seasons to try to get another win in the Premier Series, and I lost one here around that same time, and off the last corner we got in a wreck, and that still hurt to this day. And to come back and win here, also in a Menards car, bringing it back today. I don't even know what to say. My voice is half hoarse. I've been like under the weather, so of course the week this happens, like my voice is halfway gone. But I don't even know what to say. Like, it has been a long time coming, and I was super nervous on that last run. I just felt like I had a good short run, and then I felt like I was struggling late. And Kendall, Jimmy earlier were really fast, and they caught up to me later in a run, and then Chad right there, right for that yellow, I mean, he was hounding me that whole last run. So I was just trying to hang on, stay in front of him. The car was extremely loose, and I'm just happy that things worked out. I had a couple lucky breaks with some yellows and was able to get back to the lead a couple of times, once around Adam. And then I was able to stay in front of Kendall, I think, once too. And things just worked out today. I can't really say I had anything go wrong. It was a clean race overall, and a really fun, exciting race. I appreciate everybody that raced me clean, and I just so glad to finally get a win again. And I'm so glad to win in this Dodge. I'm just like almost just don't know what else to say. I'm just beyond like happy right now.
And the strategy plays out especially well when it comes to the win, and getting it off of pit road, getting that lead for the first time sets you up very well, leading almost half the laps tonight. 57 laps led on the day, so you got yourself up there and you stayed up there. How was it dealing with the competition and still leading all those laps at the end of the night?
Yeah, I was trying a strategy where I actually pitted. I was trying to get up on fuel, and I wasn't really crazy about what I did. About actually wrecked on a restart, taking the dog leg. These cars were very sketchy going down there. It's not like the Xfinity or the trucks. And I was just trying to make up some ground. I just ate the pit road wall. So that probably was the one time I absolutely screwed up tonight. And we had a quick yellow, and then I ended up getting cycled around, got tires, and I was saving them. We had a big wreck, and then that's how I ended up cycling to the lead. I was able just to take fuel only on that stop when everybody else pitted about 2 laps later, and tires were, I guess, basically equal. So that's what got me back into contention, and just was able to maintain it the rest of the race. Just very fortunate to not get caught up in any accidents. I saw a couple of big ones, and I was just glad to keep this thing in one piece for the most part, and sit here in victory lane or on the front stretch here with a blown engine, but I don't even care. I was ready to burn it down. I did the Trap House Waffleplex victory lap, which became a new thing. I haven't done it in a while. I did it in the truck a few times the last couple of seasons, but it's glad to be able to do that lap again as well, and just can't believe it. I'm just so excited for this Team Trap House team to get a victory in the Premier Series. It's been, like I said, I think at least 2 seasons since I won that North Wilkesboro race, and I feel like that one kind of wasn't the best win because it was a caution fest, and I feel a lot better about this one. Like, I really feel like I earned and really worked myself for this one to get the victory.
And a hard-earned night here for the 31 crew. Dylan Petit, just before season 16 ends, you get this win, and there's still one more opportunity to chase it. We've seen several podiums out of this team waiting for a premier win. You've got it now. How do you feel with Homestead just ahead? Another chance to come home on top.
Well, I hope there's a good chance for it again. My finishes this season have been basically good, bad, like throughout the entire season. So today was the week I was supposed to run good, and it worked. I'm hoping that I break the trend of the last race and run good again. I'd like to see if I can go and contend. It's another 1.5 miles. I ran good at Kansas. Well, I can't say Kansas. It was like Charlotte, I should say. I was really good there, and I'm hoping it translates over to Homestead. But it's a whole different ball game. That track's going to be tough. Tires are going to probably get ate up pretty bad. So we'll just have to wait and see. I hope we can make it 2 in a row, but we'll just have to wait and see and find out, and see what we can do with this Menards Dodge. I think I'll have to bring it back for next week as well. Hoping maybe it's going to bring some good luck. Seems like whenever I put yellow on the car this season, we started running better between Cat and now Menards. Maybe that yellow is just my color.
And it works out well for the yellow Menards machine. Checkered flag for Dylan Petit in the Racing Warehouse 125. Anything else you'd like to add after this race?
Well, I just want to thank Dylan Body. He put this car together pretty late in the going today, so I want to give him a shout out right off the bat. Based off Ryan Blaney's scheme that he won the championship with on Sunday, was pretty cool to replicate, at least a celebration here at Phoenix. Not necessarily the same outcome, but I want to thank him for that. Everybody, Team Trap House, the SWAT boys, everybody that we were chit-chatting with there, and thank you guys at FTN for putting on the show, and everybody at Highline, all the admins doing what they do every week. I apologize earlier in the week that I felt like I was rough on the last couple of weeks, so I do appreciate what they do for the league, and I didn't want any bad blood from my outbursts, but I just want to thank everybody for what they do. Thanks to everybody who watched. Thank you guys for putting on the broadcast, and we got one more race. We're going to see if we can go out with a bang at Homestead and see if we can maybe go back-to-back with this Menards Dodge.
And one more chance to head back to Victory Lane. Dylan Petit will get it done here in the Racing Warehouse 125. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Just like that, our race winner going to be back on the move. Dylan Petit gets it done. Kendall Kerr right up next, your second place driver, coming through as it looks like he avoids all the chaos and gets back there for a runner-up finish. Kendall Kerr, second of the day. How you feeling?
Up and down day. Anytime you have contact with a couple of the front runners, you don't know how to feel about it. I hate touching anybody. I really apologize. The 97 caught the fence and was trying to get it woed up coming down the track and just barely caught his, I think maybe right rear, and a bunch of cars got involved. So it's just feeling awful about that. But for no reason at all, these cars are like tanks when you go down and repair damage. I had like a minute 45 and was still fast after that, and saved a set of tires and came through all the pit cycle in the lead and just screwed up and blew my box. And that's what gave Poteet the track position over me. And ultimately, I don't know if I'd had any speed for the 31. The only reason I got around him before was he had older tires. He's real good here, and I think he was owed one from a couple seasons ago. He about had Phoenix one and got taken out on the last lap. But the other thing was I don't know what happened on the green white checker. I think maybe Chad thought I was taking the shortcut, and I hadn't taken the shortcut all night, and I was just trying to hold my line. He just drove right into the side of me. So we'll take second for sure. It was a fun race. Wish we could have a little bit more green flag action. Just appreciate everybody at Racing Warehouse, ASC Services and Supply, you guys for putting on the broadcast, and hopefully we'll make it an even better one next week at Homestead.
An up and down day for the team, as you mentioned, getting that chance with a final caution to put yourself back up there fighting for the race win. You had pace late in the going, so how was it with about the past 50 laps, the final of which, to get back up there after some early struggles and make it back up with a podium contention to eventually finish where you are now?
Well, I didn't have anything for the 31 and 34 on that long run at the end there. We got a bunch of us got stuck behind the guys. I think maybe they had used all of their tires up. And they did a really good job, Bossy and Potter, just doing what they had to do at that time. But I think we were about a second and a half, 2 seconds back at that point, but just enjoying the show they were putting on, and content to finish third, and obviously got another life, the green white checkered. Wish we could have finished it, but that's just such a tough track without a human spotter to tell you where everybody is on the racetrack when there's so much cutoff space, and that dog leg's tight, and it's just a really hard track to tell where everybody is. And honest, that's what led to us not being able to finish it out. But yeah, all in all, we'll take second.
And taking a podium finish with only one race left on the tour, Homestead's up next to finish up season 16. You think there's a chance to come for maybe a bit of a better finish after this one?
Yeah, I love Homestead. We'll have to see how what lane comes in there. absolutely love ripping the fence in any car. And hopefully we'll be able to do that in these for more than just a couple laps, just depending on what happens with the tires. We'll have to see, but that's going to be a blast. Homestead, is about as similar to the old format of Atlanta, before they reconfigured it in '97 with a true oval, and the progressive bank tend to put on a hell of a show. So hopefully we'll do just that for you next week.
And hoping to put on a show one more time, coming through here at Phoenix, it's Kendall Kerr, second place in the Racing Warehouse, 125. Anything else you'd like to add after this race?
No, just appreciate you, David. And I don't know what's going to happen next season. I think there's a good chance we'll probably go to the Xfinity car just because some of these restart wrecks and everything with the Gen 4. So, hope to have FTN back, and have enjoyed everything you guys have brought to the table with the graphics, broadcast, and announcing. And be ready to get back after it again in February.
And hoping to chase another season, wrapping this one off, and hopefully going to be on a high note. Kendall Kerr posts through for a second place finish here in Phoenix. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, David.
And with Kendall Kerr on the move, one more driver to speak to tonight as Scott Wheeler comes home for a podium finish. Like Kendall Kerr, avoiding that chaos at the end, had a good restart position to get by it, and it'll work out well enough for a third place finish when all is said and done. What are your thoughts after an action-packed race here at Phoenix?
I don't even know how I finished third, honestly, with my car doing a complete 360 in the air at one point. But, not bad, I guess. Better than what it looked like when that whole wreck happened.
And able to get out of that final segment of wrecking. We've seen, of course, mix of green flags and quite a few yellows as of recent night. Bit more the same in terms of that sort of play out and strategy. And only a few drivers running on the same strategy at the end of the race. It looks like you chose the right one. So how was it managing the race overall to get to this point?
Just managing your tires. It'd get really loose through the dog leg on a long run, and then, on the exits of the corners. So it's hard to fully plan strategy when, we are wrecking every 10, 15 laps. So I wish that would clean itself up a little bit. We had a good green run last week at the end of the race, but, we'll try to improve for next week and then take a break, and hopefully when we come back, be able to run these a little bit cleaner.
At night, of course, seeing a few yellow flags to finish off the night, but overall, this number 97 team, it had pace. And as you mentioned, tires a big deal, very, very warm track surface. So these things were getting burnt up, and with the high horsepower nature of the Gen 4s, it makes that much more of a difference. So how was it understanding the tires to keep yourself in the game up in front?
And it was a toss-up just based off of how sporadic our runs were. Some were long, some were short. And they really would only wear, 10%, but it felt like they were on nothing, essentially. So just trying to manage. And then at the end, when you do those short runs and have restarts back and forth, the sim doesn't handle heating them up and then resetting them well. So from there, it's just all throttle control and, trying to just not wreck on a restart and get as much position as you can.
Hoping to avoid, of course, those restart wrecks, gaining spots all night long. Scott Wheeler, you pulled through for a third place finish. One race left this season. Homestead in Miami, a final opportunity for a race win. You think there's a shot to get back in victory lane with the final race of the campaign?
I think so. There's a lot of talent in the league. It's hard to win. Now, if you look at the qualifying times, I think we're all within half a second of each other, maybe even less than that. So it's a high line track. It can be. I think the bottom also works as well. So it depends on what is fastest and what's not. If it migrates towards the bottom, I think I have a good chance. If it's up top, then we'll see how it goes. But we'll certainly try. Right now, the focus is just helping our teammate win the championship.
And now, fighting when it comes to the team game, Scott Wheeler going for his own tonight and getting that third place finish here, rounding out the podium in Phoenix. Anything else you'd like to add after this event?
Yeah, I just want to thank my teammates as always. It's a blast racing with them. Unfortunately, we all got caught up in that big wreck, but still managed to rebound fairly well. You guys for broadcasting every week. I know the product hasn't been as clean as it should be, some have been really late nights, but we appreciate what you guys do. The broadcast is fun to watch back at the end, and overall production quality is top notch. Then everybody that just puts on the league, it's a lot of work. I know these guys, get a lot of criticism and feedback that they have to take throughout the week. So it's a blast. We'll try to have a good week next week, and then, head into the off season, if you will, and prepare for the next one.
And already looking forward to what's next on the table. Scott Wheeler pulls through for a third place finish here in the Racing Warehouse 125. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And with Scott Wheeler on the way, that is your podium roundup for tonight's event. Scott Wheeler finishes third, Kendall Kerr second, and Dylan Petit will win from the Phoenix Raceway. An overtime finish, and from there on out, we saw a fair share of action-packed moments. Keep in mind, when it comes to your point standings, Adam Bozzi finished 12th. Scott Zellner finished 5th. Zellner, with the advantage coming into the night, gains even more. So it looks like that number 2 machine, Scott Zellner, very close to maybe locking it up next week. It's still not a done deal. Thursday night, next week, 9:35 Eastern, we will be back, and we'll have ourselves a hell of a show to wrap up Season 16. So stay with us live on FTN. We'll have you covered for the entirety of the season finale at Homestead, Miami. So get ready. It's going to be the thriller you've all been waiting for. Thank you all for watching. Once again, here on FTN, I've been your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, commentating and producing, and it's been a doubleheader for us at the shop here at FTN. So we're going to wrap it up quite quickly, and thank you all once again. If you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Your support is greatly appreciated, and we hope to have you all watching whenever we're live again on FTN. Thank you all once more for your immense support, and we will hope to see you all another night. Stay safe and have a great night as we'll move on next Saturday. Back for the Saturday Night Truck Series season finale, and the Full Send Super Speedway Series coming as well. Doubleheader on the weekend, and we hope to see y'all there.